What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. Nope, I'm not on a step mill. I'm actually sitting in the middle of my truck seat in the bench. Don't ask me why I'm not sitting on the driver's side. It's my truck. I can sit wherever the hell I want. And today I want to tell you about the last time that I went to Manhattan, Kansas with two white guys in a Lexus, and we got stopped by the police. And the police make me squeamish. And they certainly make me squeamish in Peabody, Kansas. Of course, this is one of those stories from the OU beat, and I'm gonna tell you about it after the bumper. Bumper!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
So my first trip to Manhattan, Kansas took a severe detour because I was riding in the car with Carrie Murdoch and Eddie Radosevich, better known as Eddie Rado, better known as Hustle Man Supreme, better known as the dude who actually deserves a Pulitzer Prize for capturing Baker Mayfield talking about spanking Baylor on camera. Love you, Eddie. So Carrie's been covering OU football more or less since the start of the Bob Stoops era. And at the time, Carrie was driving a Lexus. I don't know, maybe he still does. And one of the reasons that he drove a Lexus, because the car ain't supposed to brake or anything, but that's coming later. I'm in the back seat of the car. Carrie's driving. Eddie's in the passenger seat. And it's cold. I mean, it's damn cold. But it's cool because, you know, the heaters in the Lexus are nice. So nobody was really thinking twice that Carrie had on a fleece, shorts, and some flip-flops. It's toasty in the Lexus. But then, like out of a bad Quentin Tarantino movie, we see the blue lights. We see the cherries popping. We hear the woo, woo of 5-0, fam. And you know, I'm a black man, so I immediately go rigid. My butt cheeks tighten up so tight. But Carrie's a G, so he let the cop come to the window, and he rolled it down. It's like, what's up, officer? Officer's like, I got you for speeding. Carrie looked shook, like, for real? Officer's like, yeah, you was doing 62 and a 55, which is some of the most Jay-Z crap ever. Now, you was doing 55 and a 54. License and registration and step out of the car. You carrying a weapon on you? I know a lot of you are. I mean, the cop didn't actually ask Carrie to step out of the car, but he did ask him for his license and registration. And I could definitely see the cop looking back at me, cutting his eyes at Carrie, cutting his eyes at Eddie. He had to think we were suspicious, man. I mean, it's two white guys and a black guy in a Lexus in nowhere, Kansas. I wouldn't have been surprised he thought the car was stolen. All the same, he wrote Carrie up. Carrie's a G, so we took the ticket. Couldn't wait for the cop to get on his way. Couldn't wait for us to get on our way. Because by now, the window been down for too long. And it's cold. Man, it was cold. It was so cold. So Carrie goes to start the ignition, and the Lexus won't start. Bruh, the Lexus won't start. Man, we was freaking out. I say it was freaking out. I was scared. Carrier's freaking out. He's pissed. He bought a Lexus because it ain't ever supposed to do this. It's supposed to start in all weather. It's supposed to start during the apocalypse. It's supposed to start on Mars, but it wouldn't start in Peabody, Kansas. And Eddie just cool. He over there sitting there like a G, because that's what Eddie is. Eddie's a G. And it was cold, bruh. It felt like we was sitting there for 2 hours. Man, we sat there so long, the cop came back around. Actually came back to the window. Was like, are y'all okay? Do y'all need some help? Carrie was so pissed. He didn't want to see the cop. He was just wanting the cop to get on. We'll get it fixed. I'm telling you, I like to think that Carrie would have probably been like, we'll freeze before we ask you for help. I mean, it's a cop. What you expect? So Carrie finally gets a hold of a tow truck service. Tow truck service took his sweet time getting out to us. Come to, you know, hitch up the Lexus, and he probably thought this car was stolen because the tow hitches were covered, but it's really that the car had never needed to be towed before. Hitches up the car, and it's one of them single cab trucks. So it's 3 white guys and a black man in this really cramped truck getting hauled to Newtown, Kansas. And we getting all these weird questions from this truck driver about what we do for a living and how, you know, we kind of got stuck out there. And Carrie's cramped in there, and I'm cramped in there, and Eddie's sitting there like a G, because Eddie's a G. Most awkward truck drive I've ever had in my life, and I drive a truck every day, so I know from awkward. There's nothing like seeing a policeman pull me over in my Dodge pickup. Inevitably, the truck ain't mine till they had. One day I might tell y'all about the time somebody tried to call me Roy Finch in Norman. Man, I was so hot. Tangent. So we get to the shop in Newtown, Kansas, and you know, the shop techs, they go through with it, figure out what the problem is. But in the shop, there's a Jack Russell Terrier in the corner, just like chilling on a bedspread. I mean, Carrie thought this was the coolest dog ever, and he was cool, but he was the only other dude with brown on him, so I didn't want him to go nowhere else, because he made me feel safe. End up getting the car fixed, get back on the road, get to Manhattan where it's cold, cover this game where Trevor Knight showed flashes with his own Reed and Brennan Clay, OU Mollywop, Bill Snyder, aka Merlin and his merry band of JUCO rejects, and then we gotta go interview Bob and the players in a shed outside, which is offsides, because it's cold, man, it was cold. Look, man, I covered the game from the press box, and my toes was freezing from being close to the glass. If I never go back to Manhattan, Kansas again, it'd be too soon. Man, I don't like Manhattan, Kansas. No wonder Bill Snyder can't recruit no 5-stars. It's too cold up there. That's my story about going to Manhattan, Kansas to cover a game. If you like these stories and you like my videos, hit the like and subscribe button, because I upload a video every single day. Alright, deuces.